Is moving on to the national championship game over a 31-27 victory over Ole Miss. Tonight, you got Indiana and Oregon with a shot to go play in the title game. Currently, Indiana is a 5.5-point favorite. The Lakers are back tonight, taking on the Bucks. You hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And big news out of the NBA, apparently for the first time, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining offers to potentially move All-Star John Morant per Shams Charania. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
Sound off like you got a pair.
After a week of off-the-field news, the NFL is back for Wild Card Weekend.
We're always making strides forward and doing everything I can in the treatment room, out on the field. So I thought it was good to have that week. Some things are in you.
We break down the matchups and see if the 49ers can get out of Philly.
All we have guaranteed right now is Sunday. We have nothing guaranteed after that. So once you get to this part of the year, no one thinks about anything like that.
Plus, after another Mountain West win, the Aztecs are back in action tomorrow versus Fresno State. And one half of the college football playoff game is set.
First and back into the end zone. He runs it in over the left side for a Miami touchdown. No time left. Miami wins. We're going to the national championship.
The U plays for the title in their backyard versus either Oregon or Indiana. Let's take a look at those long shots.
Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback for Ole Miss, more than 23.5 rush yards, evading that Miami pass rush.
The things we think and do not say.
Mark Fletcher, running back for Miami, more than 96.5 rush yards.
What can I say, boys?
It's all about the U.
And Anthony Edwards, more than 30.5 playing the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What the hell?
Well, I have a microphone and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
Let's get to the weekend inside the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yeah, let's get it going. Happy Friday, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today in the return of John Schaefer, whose voice is back and stronger than ever, coming up at 2 o'clock today. All right, we got a crazy day. It is NFL playoff eve, so this is essentially Christmas all over again. Just a few weeks later, we get to open up a bunch of presents starting tomorrow, heading into Sunday, heading into Monday. It's going to be a ton of fun over the next few days, and we'll get to all of it. We're going to go game by game, break them down, key storylines, betting lines. We got 2 long shots coming up for you today. Of course, Steve Hartman is going to be joining us today. This is about as busy as it gets. We're going to try to squeeze all this into 2 hours. I do think we need to start with what we saw last night on ESPN. What a freaking game between Ole Miss and Miami. And the U is moving on, like you just heard big voice guys say. But that was a fantastic matchup, man. We talked about how excited we were for the Final Four teams yesterday. And at least game 1 absolutely delivered. Back and forth, a huge game-closing drive by Carson Beck, who... Remember, we weren't talking about Carson Beck. We were talking about the offensive and defensive lines for Miami leading into the game. But Carson Beck orchestrates an excellent final drive, takes the walk-in touchdown to win it. That was a hell of a game last night, but a couple of moments in it. Okay, so we had the missed pass interference call, the no-call PI. We had the sideline catch. Who was the wide receiver, Sammy, on Miami?
Malachi
Tony, who makes... It was a catch in my book, but it was the old toe inbounds, heel out of bounds thing that we could argue about for centuries to come. But I would like to say congratulations to Ole Miss. And there's no such thing as moral victories in sports. We know that. We hear it all the time. Ole Miss can take a little bit of a moral victory here because Ole Miss loses the majority of their coaching staff. Lane Kiffin, one of the most talked about head coaches in the country, considered to be one of the best head coaches in college football, bails on his team right before the college football playoff starts. And through the leadership of Trinidad Chambliss and everybody in that room fighting for one thing, they go underdog style and get to the semifinals and have Miami on the brink of elimination. That was a hell of a football game, a hell of a last few games by Ole Miss, who I'm going to give a ton of credit to. But Miami, just too much in the end. Sammy, we got an excellent start to the semifinals.
Yes, what a game. Just a really exciting football game, regardless of whoever you were pulling for. I agree with you. Shout out to Ole Miss for competing in that. They played their ass off in that game, especially after a really sluggish first half from them offensively. What an end to the game. I got to shout out our big voice guy, CJ Newton. He is a massive Miami Hurricane fan, so when he does all the production for the station.
It's been a couple of decades of rough times for Miami fans.
Yes.
Y'all are back. And Cristobal was going nuts on the sideline afterwards. You see that moment with him and McAfee where Cristobal almost punched him in the face. It's good for Miami. College football is better when Miami's great.
100%. And Carson Beck, like, this was the guy that no one was talking about. Everyone's talking about Chambliss, rightfully so. He's been unbelievable. Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, potential 1 and 2 picks going at it tonight. And everyone kind of forgot that Carson Beck was the guy who has been in all these big games, whether it was Georgia and then now with Miami. He has the big run at the end, just all the lead changes in the fourth. What a football game. Now, I do have to say,
the no-call PI was
awful. We're watching it on Fox right now. It was
maybe
bad.
Not a catchable ball. Maybe.
My thing is this, because everyone goes, you don't call that on a Hail Mary. A traditional Hail Mary where it's a scrum, you throw it up, and it's basically, if you ever played the game when you were a kid, flyers up, and everyone tries to hit each other for the ball, you don't call PI. But when he has his hand almost on the ball, his jersey's getting ripped down the other way, and it's college, so you don't have the NFL rules where it's a spot foul, it's at the 1 yard line. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's still, I believe they would have got the ball at the 15 to 20 yard line, somewhere in there for one final play. It was a disappointing end to a great game, but credit to Miami. They were the better team all night and should set up for a great national championship game in their home stadium.
All right, because I know Sammy and I are on opposite sides of this coin, I do want to talk about it. Let's put a 2-minute timer on this so we get to the big three on time, and we got a busy show today. We got to get to everything else. The inbounds, out of bounds on a catch. So in the NFL, if you toe tap a catch, meaning you're on your tippy toes facing the sideline when you catch the ball, and then you fall out of bounds and say your knee hits the ground first, your chest hits the ground first, doesn't matter. It's a catch if your tippy toes are in bounds. But if you're faced the opposite way, your back is to the sideline and you're on your tiptoes when you catch the ball and then your heels touch the ground first, it's not a catch. College football, same thing. So yesterday we see a once in a season type of catch. Malachi Tony,
yeah,
makes this catch on the sideline, miraculous grab, even that he holds onto the football. Toe comes down, heel goes down out of bounds. I think it should be a catch. I don't understand the ruling on it. Right. I understand it doesn't necessarily look like a catch because half his foot's out of bounds. But if you're going to the sideline on your tippy toes and your knee comes down first, how is that not the same thing as your heel coming down first?
Well, we need established rules. That's the one problem that we've always had is what defines a catch. And it did seem like, what defines a toe tap. So if the heel comes out of bounds, then there's not really any toe tap catches anymore.
Then no toe tap should be a catch. It needs to be your whole foot is on the ground.
So it looked like it was a catch. Originally, I thought it was not, but now us talking about it, it does kind of seem like watching the replay, it was a catch. But yeah, the NFL and college football need to establish these rules so there is a clear-cut answer to these problems when in big games it happens.
When you leave gray area, sometimes it just happens in some of the biggest moments. Imagine a college football national champion, like obviously Miami got the win last night, so it didn't impact that much. But what if in a Super Bowl or a college football national championship game that happens, all of a sudden you got some people who have some money sprinkled on the game a little angry. All right, let's get to the big three. It's NFL playoff eve. We got 6 games coming up. So what we're going to do with long shots today is a little bit interesting. Sammy is in charge of AFC long shots. I'm in charge of NFC long shots. Fletch shots? What do we want to call it?
Fletch shots. Yeah, Fletch shots. Long shots and Fletch shots.
How about that? We got long shots. We got Fletch shots today coming up. So I got NFC. You got AFC. I feel very good about my lineup. No, there's no homer picks. I left the Niners off of it. So we'll get to that in just a little bit if you're trying to bet with
I was about to say we probably should have flipped it considering your team's in the NFC. And
I got an Eagles pick that I feel pretty good about.
Okay.
All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. Let's get to the big three. Smash it, Sammy.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If I can jump in for Big Three, number one, I'm sorry, Sammy. We found Mama Fletch's dog. No one knows about this. My mom's dog was missing for the last day and a half, and she was in a terrible spot. Brokenhearted about it, obviously. Didn't know if it was dead on the side of the road or with someone else. We found the dog. So all is good. I appreciate everybody in Merced, California, who I've been frantically texting over the last day and a half, trying to get a search party out there for the dog. The dog has been found. Congrats, Mom.
Hell yeah. Best news of the weekend. There you go.
There's nothing worse than a lost dog, man. It tears your family apart.
100%. Okay, so in the NFL this weekend, we obviously have 6 playoff games. There are 4 road playoff favorites. Now, I don't know when the last time this happened, but let me get the lines here. So the Rams are 10.5-point favorites on the road in Carolina. Packers a 1.5-point favorite in Chicago. Buffalo is a 1.5-point favorite in Jacksonville. And then the Texans are 3-point favorites in Pittsburgh. How many upsets in total are we going to get this weekend? But 2, are we undervaluing home field advantage in some of these top seeds and falling a little bit too in love with the wild card entries?
I like the question a lot. I really do. I think the line should be set at 1.5 for upsets. If that's where the line is, I'm probably going over. I think there's going to be 2. Now, I'm not 100% positive where the 2 would come from, because if you're thinking logically, you think, oh, well, the Jags have a pretty great season under them. And you know what? Buffalo's defense really struggles, so you could see the Jags upsetting the Bills. I think we all could. I look to the Steelers-Texans game. CJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to trust the experience of Aaron Rodgers in that matchup. There's 2 upsets I could potentially see. But let's talk about this. Can we all understand that the Rams had a pretty bad last month of their season? I get it. It might be the best roster in the postseason. Matthew Stafford's played unreal all season long. The Rams had a bad last month. They lose to the Panthers, which kicked it off. I think that was November 30th. They lose to the Seahawks. They have a close game against the Lions. They beat up on the Cardinals twice over the last month. Lucky scheduling there. And they lose to the Falcons. Like, I'm looking at the Rams like, if there's a time to beat them, it's come in the last 60 calendar days. And Carolina's already done it once. It's hard to beat the same team twice out of division in the same season. But, man, are we not giving Carolina nearly enough credit? What was the line?
10.5.
10.5-point dogs at home.
So it got bet up to 11. I think it opened at 10. It's kind of been hanging around a touchdown and a field goal. And then the bettors have all been hammering the Rams. I see what you're saying about the Rams, and they haven't played the best football, but I do think there's something to be said for a team that gets a little bored, who has won a Super Bowl before and is sitting there knowing they're going to be in the playoffs. The 1 seed slips out of their hands in that Seahawk game where Darnold gets the 2-point conversion. You're kind of waiting for January to get here. I feel like that's where I'm at with the Rams. I don't see Carolina just having enough offensively to pull an upset. Look, did they kind of get screwed with some calls against Tampa Bay? Yeah, the Tet offensive pass interference last weekend was a pretty bad call at a pivotal time in that game, but I don't see that game being an upset. The Bears-Packers essentially a pick'em, and the fact that it's snow on the ground, going to be really crappy weather, maybe that favors Chicago with the best rushing attack in football, but then Josh Jacobs on the other side as well. Buffalo, Jacksonville, I think we're going to see a lot of upsets. Like, if you set the line at 1.5, I think you would be more than that. And I am surprised, though, that the biggest spread this weekend outside of the Rams-Panthers is your 49ers in Philly.
Is it 5.5?
It's 6 now.
Yeah.
So this opened as a 3.5-point spread in favor of Philly, and all the money has been coming in.
The injury news is getting worse for the Niners. Trent Williams likely to be out. Ricky Pearsall likely to be out. That's what that line is doing.
It is like, and I get it. I'm like, I would pick Philadelphia, but I think in a game where I feel like it's going to be close. Like, I don't think this game is going to be a blowaway. The Philadelphia offense has done nothing to show that they're going to put a team away against anyone. The 6 points feels like a lot to me, but I think in this parity of this NFL weekend, especially home teams being dogs, I think there's a lot of plus money opportunity for all of us gamblers out there.
I'm just going to say this right now, and I promise on Monday we can all laugh at me if the Niners turn around and get a win. I truthfully do not see it. Like, I'm going to root my ass off for the 49ers.
Whoa, you just said Super Bowl last week. You still said you redoubled down this week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I put my money where my heart is, which is not a great idea ever. I do not see the 49ers winning this game. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
You see what he's doing, San Diego?
No, I'm being dead. This is 100% honest, Sammy. We talked about this off air. Like, I'm telling you, I do not see a way it's possible because all the Eagles have to do is run the football. The Niners' run defense is decimated. That's where they've had success. It's when Chicago's trying to throw the ball all over them and they pacing up the game. Philly is great at slowing down football games. They're going to slow. They don't need to get a bunch of yards to win. They get a touchdown and then they rely on their defense the rest of the way. I really don't see the Niners winning this game. That's not going to be one of the upsets.
We're trying to soften the blow for Monday.
No, I'm honestly not. I swear to God, I'm not. And on Monday, I'm not going to come in here if the Niners win and be like, I told you guys. Yeah, that's not. No, I'm honestly not. I'm just trying to say I do not see it happen.
Let's go to another NFL story. Head coaching search. So let's go to last night. Jackson Dart, quarterback of the New York Giants, is on the field because he played at Ole Miss. They caught him. Lip readers caught him talking to a staffer on the sideline, and it looked like he had asked him who's going to be the head coach, and he said Stefanski or Harbaugh.
Well, that doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
But this comes after the Miami news. Miami blows out Mike McDaniel. Everyone thinks that he's going to go there because why would you Mike McDaniel's job was safe on Monday per reports. It was supposed to be that he was the guy going forward unless there was a big name that became available, and then John Harbaugh gets fired, and all of a sudden the Miami job comes open. So there's been some Mike McCarthy rumors to Miami, which I don't understand whatsoever. If you're the Miami Dolphins, I think that is a complete step backward from Mike McDaniel. But if you're Jackson Dart, who should you want? John Harbaugh, who's is a way more established coach, or Stefanski, the offensive mind?
I would take Stefanski because of what you just said, the offensive mind. Harbaugh is fantastic, man, and you won't find me complaining if he gets the New York Giants job. Stefanski, I think, is one of those McVay, Shanahan, KOC types. Like, he could come in there and with offense that has three really, really talented but really young and dumb players in Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, and Cam Scatterbo, who all got hurt this year, by the way. I think Stefanski can mature that room up a little bit and make it to where this offense play-wise and formation-wise gets a little better, but also maturity-wise gets a little better. I think you need an offensive mind to pair in. I don't know that Harbaugh's the right fit.
See, I would go Harbaugh because in a place like New York where the media is going to destroy you for whatever you do, and knowing the Giants have not been successful since 2012, I want John Harbaugh. I want a grown-up in the room with Scatterbo and Neighbors in Jackson Dart, and one of the best. The defense wasn't great this year, but the pass rush, the front seven, is unbelievable with Thibodeau and company and Abdul Carter. So I want an established head coach who's won before versus Stefanski. Like, Stefanski's going to get crushed immediately if he doesn't win because they're going to go, yeah, there was a lot to work with there with Cleveland, and it wasn't a lot of his fault, the fact that Deshaun Watson situation, they can never get the quarterback right, but they're going to point to the fact that he never really actually won in Cleveland. So I want a proven winner in that former AFC North division, and John Harbaugh. I think that would be great for a young quarterback in Jackson.
All right, save it for the other side, Sammy. We're going to go with one more on the other side. Plus, while we're talking about it, Rams-Panthers, you're going to hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Pregame will get started at 12:30, kickoff at 1:30. And then on Sunday, we got an AFC game for you. Chargers at Patriots. Should be a good one. Pregame at 4, kickoff at 5. Of course, in the middle of all that, Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Aztecs. Pregame starts at 7, tip-off at 8 o'clock. San Diego State taking on Fresno State. Should be a good one at Viejas Arena. All right, quick break here. On the other side, we will finish up with the big three. Plus, that Patriots-Chargers game, how we feeling out there? How we feeling out there for the people in San Diego? This is a pretty good shot for the Chargers. I'm wondering how many people are donning the old powder blue coming up this weekend at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Starting on Monday, San Diego Sports 760, we got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday, every single hour from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. starting on next Monday. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com Monday at 6 a.m. as well as 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. You get the point all the way till 6 p.m. $1,000 every single hour. Man, Sammy and I try to make you money every single day, but this is guaranteed payouts.
Right, you get guaranteed payout, and then we know long shots is gonna hit over the weekend because we got a little Tuesday coming at you. So it's like you're gonna be waking up Monday and you're gonna just be so rich.
Fletch and Sammy giving you a Tuesday. You're gonna love it. I promise you that.
You'll love the Tuesday.
All right, let's get to big three. Number 3, Sammy. This one hits close to home, huh?
Yeah. So per reports per Mark Ziegler, Chucky Lozano could be on his way out from SCFC. Now, this comes after the whole run, the playoff run, and then right before where he apparently got in an altercation with Coach Mikey Varas on the sideline, and then he got benched for a couple games. Then he was coming in off the bench at halftime, and it was kind of a polarizing thing down the stretch, and they were going on their playoff run. What's your initial reaction though to Lozano possibly being out at SCFC?
So this is from the Union Tribune here. Tyler Heap saying he's the sporting director with SDFC earlier today that the decision is on the team, that the team has made the decision to part ways with Chucky Lozano. Here is what I think. Chucky Lozano was the highest paid player on the team. It wasn't really close. You could probably get another star who's a little bit younger for half of what he was making. I think he was at like $7.5-ish million per year. But I look at Chucky Lozano, and the right reaction in my mind is to be like, oh, this season's not nearly as special if he's not there. He was the first big name attached to this team. He's internationally known superstar. I bet you for the first few matches of SDFC's run at Snapdragon Stadium, people were there to see Chucky Lozano because that's what soccer is. It's a very star-driven sport. And then as the season grew, it's almost like the team and the feeling you got watching the team outgrew Chucky Lozano. So the power in San Diego became more about SDFC and the feeling that it brought the city and the success that it brought the city. And maybe at this point, they just don't need Chucky Lozano anymore because we fell in love with an Anders Dreyer. We fell in love with Luca De La Torre. We fell in love with Pellegrino. So as the season continued, you start to get to know everybody else. And it's like maybe, in the first season, you're there for Steve Carell in the office, right? But then as the seasons continue, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this John Krasinski dude's pretty funny. Mm-hmm. Oh, Rainn Wilson? Guy's hilarious. And then
I like the analogy, but the Office's ratings really went downhill after he left the show.
Yeah, but in the beginning parts, it's like,
no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you're watching it for Michael, but the people around Michael are just as good.
Look, it was obviously a tricky situation. No one really knew what was going on when, the first reaction, I wasn't there. So I'm not sitting here like I have inside sources because I don't. The initial reaction when he was benched was, I remember Adrian Garcia Marquez coming on our show going, he was mad because he was being pulled out of the game. And look, I get it. I guess coaches don't want to talk back, and Coach Mikey Varas obviously knows what he's doing. But I do want a kind of player that wants to be out there versus the player who's like, my hamstring's hurt, I can't go tonight. And so it felt like the original problem. Now, obviously, I'm not there behind the scenes, so I don't really know what developed of all this.
There could have been a punch thrown. We have no idea.
Right, we have no idea. So I'm not speculating on what's going on. I wasn't there. And obviously, Mikey Varas and Tyler Heaps, they know what they're doing because they took him to a Final Four in the first season. And it's cool that SDFC has developed so much talent where they feel like they can move off of Chucky Lozano. But it does suck to see like Lozano and Milan Alaski, two guys that were really, you feel like, ascending to be stars. Lozano already being a star and Alaski really being a star, not with the team going forward. But SDFC certainly has shown a proclivity to developing talent, so I think they're going to be all right.
Now, as far as I understand, Lozano, he's staying around the organization while they try to loan him out, which means there could be something good coming back to SDFC in terms of financial.
I'm not going to pretend like I know soccer. They like loan and then you pay fees back to a team. I'm not going to pretend like I know it because
I don't really understand it either. But I do know this could end up being great for SDFC. And Amal Pellegrino, who's the guy they essentially brought in to kind of start in his place during that postseason run, was fantastic. Scored 3 goals in the postseason. Right. So I think they'll be okay. But it does kind of feel like the team started to where it used to be. It was Chucky Lozano you were going to see. All of a sudden it became SDFC. All right, we're going to start with Patriots Chargers, which is coming up. That game's on Sunday.
Sunday night.
Sunday Night Football.
I wonder what'll do bigger numbers, the Golden Globes or Patriots Chargers.
Patriots Chargers is going to do much bigger numbers.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why the Golden Globes are doing the same time as the game.
You start to break this down, and I talked about it a ton with Rich Ornberger this morning. Every time there was a song playing, we were just talking about this game because the storylines are insane. The Chargers, had they had both offensive linemen, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, might very well be the Super Bowl favorites right now. I'm not even kidding.
I think that would be fair. I'd pick the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl if they had their tackles.
If they had those two guys, they might be Super Bowl favorites right now. But the fact of the matter is they don't, and they haven't. But they still got here without him. There's plenty of teams we saw this year who had tons of injury issues who didn't make the postseason. The Chargers had just as many as anybody else. They did make the postseason. So now it becomes, all right, can Justin Herbert beat a rookie quarterback? Which I know Drake May's in year 2, but rookie to the postseason.
Right.
And if he can, man, he gets a ton of credit, and the Chargers get a ton of credit. And Jim Harbaugh, who's an excellent postseason coach, adds to that resume. And I'm looking at this Patriots team, and I'm telling you, I think the Chargers win this football game.
The thing with that, but the May being his first start, if Herbert loses this game, it's a big if, because I think the Chargers are live dogs in this game. This is not, and I bash Josh Allen a lot and Lamar Jackson. Well, really Josh Allen, but they've lost, at least to his credit, he's lost to Burrow and Mahomes.
Right.
But the reason I get after Josh Allen is because people put them, and I think it's fair, on the pedestal with those guys because he has the talent along with those guys. He just doesn't have the production. But if Justin Herbert loses on Sunday, he'll have lost to Trevor Lawrence, he'll have lost to C.J. Stroud, and Drake May in the postseason. That's not talking about Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow.
Get to that level.
So, again, I do understand where Herbert has had some excuses. Like, there has been some things. Brendan Staley, I thought, was an awful head coach. You're not reinventing the wheel, going for it on your own 18-yard line against the Raiders when it's 4th and 2. It doesn't make you a good coach because you decide to be risky every time. They didn't have a lot of receivers last year. Lab McConkey was the only guy. But it can't be. They have Harbaugh now. They have receivers. I get the offensive line is not there. But at some point, if Herbert is the transcendent quarterback that some people believe he is, he has to win a game. And considering he's playing Drake May and a guy who's never been there before against a team who has had the weakest strength of schedule in 26 years. Yes, 26 years is the weakest strength of schedule that a team has ever played in the New England Patriots. So if Herbert goes and loses this game, I don't care that it's in Foxborough. There needs to be some indictment on the fact that he's 0-3 in the playoffs.
And let's not forget, Jim Harbaugh wanted this matchup. Jim Harbaugh sat everybody in the final game of the season so they would drop a seed so that they would be playing the Patriots. Even though it's on the road, man, I just see the Chargers winning this game. I really do. Our buddy Rich on YouTube saying, I built up so much Patriot hate back in the day. This matchup is tough for me to pick. I'll root for the Chargers until I see Spanos on the sideline. That's the other thing. Like, remember, Phillip Rivers probably gets a Super Bowl, or at least a crack at a Super Bowl, if Tom Brady didn't exist and the Patriots didn't exist.
Well, yeah, a lot of people. Brady's the Jordan.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's how many guys would have NBA rings if Jordan didn't play? It is amazing what would Ben Roethlisberger's legacy be? What would Peyton Manning's legacy be?
There's a million people out there right now listening who are going to be pissed at me if I get this wrong, and so I probably shouldn't even say it, but I am going to say it. Wasn't the Marlon McCree play against the Patriots?
I believe
the fumble.
So.
I'm pretty sure it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, and there's going to be 20 people texting right now who are calling me an idiot, so that's fine. It's San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break here. Continue on with this game by game. We go coming up next. Let's do it. Let's get it out of the way. We're going to split the next segment up into 2, but we're going to start with Niners Eagles. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Second semifinal playoff game in college football going on tonight. Oregon in Indiana, in the Peach Bowl. That'll be at 4:30. Indiana is currently a 3-point favorite with the point total set at 48.5. And San Diego State taking on Fresno State tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Earl Schaefer on the call at that one from Viejas. Here, the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Fletch will get you going with the pregame starting at 7. The once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Upgrade today with Mattress Firm's quality selection of top brands. Let their sleep experts find the perfect bed to help transform your nights. They make sleep easy.
Tomorrow night, San Diego State basketball is back at Viejas Arena. They got Fresno State. Pregame coverage gets going at 7. John Schaefer is going to have the tip just after 8 o'clock right here on your home for the San Diego State Aztecs. San Diego Sports 760. Have confirmed Marlon McCree did fumble in the 06 playoffs, the divisional round against the New England Patriots. That was a very good Charger team. That was a very bad one play that maybe cost Philip Rivers shot at the Super Bowl. So, yes, Charger fans, if you're still out there, you have plenty of reason to hate the Patriots. Like our buddy Rich said, I've built up so much Patriot hate back in the day that this one's tough to pick, but I'll root for the Chargers until I see Spanos on the sideline. Probably a lot of people in that boat today. I don't know, Sammy. I was around town yesterday. It's a lot of jerseys out and about.
I went to the gym this morning and I was surprised how many new Herbert jerseys and shirts were out in full force. But hey, listen, you root for whoever you want to root for. If they're dead to you, you hope they lose every game. I am completely with you. If you are a Charger fan and you stay with them, then I guess good on you.
It's funny. We opened up the phone lines today over on KGB to talk about that, to talk about this game coming up this weekend. And there were a lot of Charger fans calling in and a lot of people who had just bought Patriots jerseys. So it feels like a pretty even split here in San Diego.
All I know is it'll be a high rated game in San Diego, regardless of who you're pulling for.
This game's going to crush in terms of ratings. Everything will. Are the Golden Globes actually Sunday night?
Yes. So
that's hilarious.
Normally the Golden Globes do the week in between where the Pro Bowl is.
Right.
Because they're like, the Pro Bowl is the Pro Bowl and it's between the Super Bowl. I don't know why the hell they would decide to schedule the Golden Globes on Sunday night with the NFL playoffs on, which dwarfs everything. But maybe I guess the people who are watching the Golden Globes aren't too interested in Chargers Pats.
All right, so Eagles 49ers is the next game we're going to talk about here. And obviously, I do have a rooting interest here. I'm a 49ers fan.
Really?
Just a couple years ago that the Eagles destroyed the Niners in the NFC Championship game because on like the third play of the game, Brock Purdy's elbow got exploded. And then literally Christian McCaffrey, I think, was playing quarterback at one point for the San Francisco 49ers. So there's history there. There's beef there. Jason Kelsey was on a podcast earlier this week talking about the Eagles' most hated team is actually the San Francisco 49ers.
Over Dallas. That's crazy.
I found that fascinating. But you think about who's been the better competition, who've been the two teams in the NFC who are routinely getting to an NFC Championship game or at least the NFC divisional round over the last few years. Well, it's the Niners, it's the Eagles. They've been the two powers in the NFC consistently over the last decade. So this is a fantastic game, and I don't really want to take anything away from it by saying this, but I do see this, if I'm being completely honest, as an Eagles 10-point win. I'm not putting money there, but that is where I would see this game going because I think it's a terrible matchup for the 49ers who are injured, who've been injured on the defensive side all year long. They don't really have an ability to stop the run. And if Philly wants to, they could just play a ball possession with this game and tick the time off the clock. I fear it's going to be a boring game if I'm being completely honest.
This game is interesting because you look at the field and we've talked ad nauseum about no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. But let's look who's actually, the lack of experience is crazy. So you have Stafford who's won a Super Bowl. You have Rodgers who won a Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl. And Brock Purdy's the only other quarterback who's actually been to a Super Bowl in the whole field. So it's fun watching them face off in the first round. Philly fans know.
Dude, if Philly loses this game, Sirianni's fired.
Well, that's what's crazy. So most people, and being a fan, like I'm a Laker fan, and Laker fans hold their team to a standard that a lot of other teams just don't. And they're like, if you were in Cleveland, you'd celebrate the LeBron 2016 comeback for decades. In a big market like that, it's kind of a what have you done for me lately? Philadelphia is like that, and I'm curious what changes will be made if they do they kind of blow up the roster? Because on paper, the roster is one of the most talented in the entire league. But if you lose, especially this weekend, to the Niners with maybe Trent Williams out, maybe Ricky Pearsall out. We already know about Bosa and Fred Warner and Mykel Williams not being there. There's going to be some major question marks. And then on the other side, Fletch and I have argued about this for a long time, about our thoughts on Brock Purdy. Fletch thinks he's a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. And he gets a chance to prove me wrong. Like, he literally, if he wins this game, I will come on air on Monday and give Brock Purdy all the flowers in the world, because my critique about Brock Purdy over the years is that it's easy for a quarterback to look good in a Kyle Shanahan-led system, i.e. Sam Darnold, i.e. Mac Jones, i.e. basically Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever's been there, because of the amount of talent and scheme that's been around him. In this game, he doesn't have all the talent. So he gets a prime opportunity to go into Philadelphia. They are still the defending champs. Everyone forgets this. They are still the defending champs. And to beat the champ, you got to go take it from them. If Brock Purdy were to win this game with no Trent Williams in them, he gets to prove people like me wrong. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. That's what makes the NFL so good.
You just hype me up a little bit, Sammy. Now I'm kind of getting excited once again for this game.
I tell you, I'm very fair. If Brock Purdy wins the game, I will give him all the flowers in the world.
Dude, he's a stud. You just got to get over that. Brock Purdy's
He wasn't a stud last weekend.
Well, that's a different story.
But again, we saw a difference between the Bears defense is takeaway reliant, not a great defense. Seahawks defense, one of the best in the NFL.
God, the Seahawks defense is scary.
The Eagles defense has a case for the best. Everyone talks about Houston and Denver. If he does it against Philly, he deserves flowers. If he doesn't, I'm going to come on here and say the same thing I always do.
Yeah, I'm so curious about how this game is going to go, especially if Williams and Pearsall aren't in. Now, it's Shanahan does this. This is very classic him. He makes it seem all week like someone's not going to go, and then sometimes they do go. And maybe that's the case with Williams and Pearsall right now, playing a little liar's dice with everybody. But it seems like they're not playing in this game, which if that's the case, I don't feel like the Niners have a chance. And name one quarterback who would, with your all-world left tackle, with your really good
he's
young
paid to elevate the team.
He is.
So I don't want to hear excuses
right
about the injuries.
You're
this is Brock
absolutely
Purdy's opportunity.
You're absolutely right. This is a huge opportunity for him to shut people up. I would love for him to take it. I just don't see it right now from where I'm sitting. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We got a text, Sammy. We got a text from, let me see which number this is. It was the 858. Who said, can you please bless us with 2 long shots for this long sports weekend?
Yes.
1 NBA, 1 mixed football. Well, if you missed the very beginning of the show, that's exactly the plan. We are doing 2 long shots today. Sammy is going to handle the AFC playoff games, and you're going to throw an NBA pick in there too, right? Or
I was going to throw a college football playoff pick, but if everyone wants an NBA pick, we can throw an NBA pick in as well.
So Sammy's long shots is coming up next. He's in charge of the AFC, and then coming up later in the show, I will be in charge of the NFC long shots. So we're taking Sammy roots for the Chiefs, the AFC team. He should know that field better. I root for the Niners. It's an NFC team. I should know that field better. That's what we're going to go with today. Do we feel good about that?
I'm very excited. I've been working on this parlay for a little minute over the last 24 hours. I'm excited to make the entire city of San Diego, Orange County, and a little bit of Los Angeles money.
And let's finish this segment off with a text from the 858. ABC, baby. Anyone but Chargers. 619. I would root for a team from North Korea if they were playing against the Chargers. A lot of that on the text line as well. So that's fun. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Long shots coming up next. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel. If you're planning on watching some football this weekend, whether it's tonight with college or this weekend with the pros, there's no better spot to watch than Valley View Casino and Hotel. And while you're there, make your way over to Patties and Pints at the Valley View Casino and Hotel and take a bite out of San Diego's best handcrafted burgers, authentic deep dish pizzas, ice cold draft beer, and creamy shakes made with Valley View Casino's signature all beef blend and featuring your favorite toppings. Patties and Pints serves burgers and American classics with an unbeatable dining experience. Grab a pint from their extensive list of craft beer on draft. Sip on hand-selected wines, innovative cocktails, and martinis, or indulge in a delicious creamy shake. That's Sammy's favorite. I know it. Visit Patties and Pints at Valley View Casino and Hotel today and enjoy your favorite all-American dishes prepared to perfection. And while you're there, don't forget to join the Players Club and get $10 off when you eat at Patties and Pints. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, right now, when you join the Players Club, you'll receive over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at the casino, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to Black and Blue Steakhouse, and of course, that $10 to Patties and Pints. When you upgrade your card from red card to blue card, you're going to get 2 free Maine lobster buffets once you make that upgrade. And the more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you'll earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. I meant what I said, man. If you're going to watch some football this weekend, no better spot to do it than Valley View Casino and Hotel. They got a big old TV sitting right above one of their bars. You got to go check it out with seating, comfy seating too, Sammy. Ooh, the seats are so comfortable. And the milkshakes at Patties and Pints. Don't get me started, baby. It's San Diego Sports 760. Jay Silves, that's a very funny tweet or a YouTube comment. We won't be reading it out of fear of being fired, but I like it a lot. Go check out our YouTube chat.
Yeah, that's a fantastic text.
It's really, really good.
Fortunately, FCC Airwaves might not like that one. But
if the Chargers were playing blank, I'd be sporting a blank. How about that?
Basically, with the amount of text we've got, and insert anything into who they would be rooting for over the Chargers. That's the feedback we've gotten today.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's going to be a great game, man. I'm just telling you, I do think the Chargers are going to win this game. I apologize if that pisses anybody off. It's just the way I see things going. First time quarterback in the postseason is not always an easy thing to do. You remember Josh Allen's first round through the postseason? Who were they playing against? Was it
He's lost to Deshaun, Burrow, and Mahomes
Watson
4 times.
And Deshaun Watson mounted a massive comeback on him, scoring on like 5 straight possessions. So like, I just don't know. The first time you're in the postseason, sometimes it's a rough go. All right, we're going to do 2 separate long shots today. Sammy's in charge of one of them. I'm in charge of the other one. Sammy's handling the AFC. I'll be handling the NFC. Mine's coming up next hour, which means I do believe it's time for Sammy Long to make us all some money. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Hey, that's me and his man.
with long shots.
All right, before we get any further here, did want to remind you, if you're driving around this weekend, Rams, Panthers, pregame 12:30, kickoff at 1:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. On Sunday, Chargers, Patriots, pregame at 4, kickoff at 5 right here on San Diego Sports 760. In the middle of all that, Fresno State, San Diego State, pregame at 7, tip-off at 8, Saturday night, that's tomorrow, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, where would you like to go with your edition of Long Shots for today?
All right, we have 1 college football pick and 2 to 3 NFL picks. What is
2 to 3?
Yeah, because I'm debating on one right now.
Okay.
All right,
makes me feel real confident in what's about to happen.
No, I feel confident in all these. I'm just debating if just give me some time. All right, tonight, Indiana, Oregon, second semifinal. Going to be a really fun game. I think everyone expects this to be a high-scoring game with Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza at quarterback. But we're going to go Noah Whittington, the running back from Oregon, So he usually shares his workload with another running back who was actually out injured for this game. They also had 2 freshman running backs who do get touches enter the transfer portal. So that is 3 running backs down for Oregon. Noah Whittington is the only guy left in the roster that actually has played during the regular season and gets legit snaps, especially against that Indiana front 7. I think they're going to have to get the ball out of Dante Moore's hands fast. Going back to the first matchup, Fernando Mendoza throws the pick 6 in that game in Autzen in Oregon, but was able to come back. And the offense was really stagnant. I think Noah Whittington has to be a big factor for this game for Oregon. So more than 66.5 rush and receiving yards for Noah Whittington. I think he gets a lot of touches tonight. He's going to be big for Oregon. All right, we're going to go Jacksonville, Buffalo. First AFC game on Sunday. James Cook, more than 17.5 receiving yard. I'll tell you why. Everyone forgets Josh Allen's nursing a foot injury. He's kind of been dealing with a foot injury the last couple of weeks. He's been limited practice. It's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. But even so, the Jacksonville Jaguars have one of the best run defenses in the entire NFL. They've ranked statistically for number 1 for most of the season. It is hard to run the ball on this team. It's been a catalyst for why they've really shut down the Denver rushing attack, the Chargers rushing attack, the Chiefs at the time, the Niners. They have really gotten after some good teams in the AFC and NFC. I think this is a James Cook receiving game because I think Josh Allen typically would take off and kind of be Superman himself on the run. But with his foot injury, with them containing him in the pocket, I think this is a big James Cook game. More than 17.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to keep it easy, try to get after, slow down that Jags pass rush, and get him involved in the screen game early, especially considering the lack of downfield targets that Josh Allen has. With Khalil Shakir as your best receiver, not always the best sign. So I think James Cook is a big part of this game. More than 17.5 receiving yards. All right, New England Chargers. Justin Herbert, more than 5 rush attempts. He's actually hit this number in the over by a lot in each of the last 4 games, except for the Kansas City game. The Kansas City game, it was a really sluggish, all-defensive battle, and then Mahomes went out in that one. But in these games, because of the offensive line, even though the Patriots' pass rush isn't really their calling card, he's got to get out of the pocket. In that Philly game that he won, he was literally running the entire time. Marion Hampton looks like he's going to go for the Chargers, the running back, the rookie running back out of North Carolina. But in that game, apparently he's questionable. He's going to play, but he's nursing an injury. So this really falls on Justin Herbert. We were talking about it earlier. A massive game for the Chargers, but really a massive game for him personally, because if he loses this game, the narrative is no longer can't get the coach right. You have a good coach. Can't get the receivers right. You have a good receivers. At some point, your record is what it is. If he loses to Drake May and the Patriots, he'll be 0-3 in the postseason. I think he is a catalyst for the rushing attack, and especially with that Patriots secondary, Christian Gonzalez, I think you can get after them a little bit in the front 7. I think J. Herb has more than 5 rushing attempts. Are we going to leave it there? Or do you want another one?
Go ahead.
All right. On the other side, Drake May. Now, I know that New England or the Chargers have the best secondary in the entire NFL. And Stephon Diggs gets the headlines, right? Stephon Diggs was a great receiver in this league for a long time. He was the guy that was with Josh Allen all those years. They're going to be rolling a lot of coverage on him.
Is he even in the game?
Yeah, he is. But that's
He's not dealing with the off the field stuff.
He's playing. Him and Christian Barmore, they got a lot of off the field issues. He is playing in the game. But Stephon Diggs gets a lot of the headlines because they know what he can be. But Kayshon Boutte, for those who have really been paying attention, has been the guy. Like, he's been the go-to receiver. He's a young receiver out of LSU. He was a draft pick a few years ago. They just really had never had the quarterback to get him the football. This number is depressed because of the Chargers secondary. It's only at 28.5 receiving yards, or we're going to go more than. I think Kayshon Boutte, he's going to get a lot of targets in this game, especially with them rolling coverage over on Stephon Diggs. And I also think the safety, Derwin James, he's going to be coming down in the box to stop Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, which is going to allow a lot of go routes for Kayshon Boutte. So he hits his over more than 28.5 receiving yards for him. So to recap, Noah Whittington, running back for Oregon, more than 66.5 rush and receiving yards. James Cook, running back for Buffalo, more than 17.5 receiving yards. Justin Herbert, more than 5 rush attempts. And Kayshon Boutte, more than 28.5 receiving yards.
About a little Drake May over a half interception.
Really? Having a coughing attack over here.
I know. Are you okay? Are you going to die?
I'm good. I made it to the end.
Just saying, first-time playoff quarterback, maybe gets a good Chargers secondary, maybe gets a little loose and fancy with one and throws an interception. Could happen. I don't know.
So you're really on the Chargers in this game?
I really am on the Chargers in this game. I don't know why. I just got one of those gut feelings.
Are you getting them on the spread or money line? They're plus 3.5 right now.
You really are dying over there.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I do think I would take them on the money line, but the 3.5 makes me feel a lot better. All right, San Diego Sports 760, hour 1 in the books, hour 2 still to come. We haven't even really touched on the Buffalo Bills game coming up this weekend. And dude, like the reality could be we're talking about Josh Allen on Monday as another postseason failure because they got a pretty tough matchup.
Don't let that happen, by the way.
Let's get to it on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Peach Bowl is going on tonight with a shot to go play Miami in the national championship game after they won last night. Indiana taking on Oregon. Indiana is a 3-point favorite with the point total set at 49.5. That game is going at 4:30. And tonight you hear the Lakers on San Diego Sports 760, the station right here. At 7:30, the Lakers are currently 3.5-point favorites over Giannis and the Bucks. Point total there is 229.5. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Where are we going in sports?
After a week of off Off the field news, the NFL is back for Wild Card Weekend.
We're always making strides forward and doing everything I can in the treatment room, out on the field. So I thought it was good to have that week. Some things are easy.
We break down the matchups and see if the 49ers can get out of Philly.
All we have guaranteed right now is Sunday. We have nothing guaranteed after that. So once you get to this part of the year, no one thinks about anything like that.
Plus, after another Mountain West win, the Aztecs are back in action tomorrow versus Fresno State, and one half of the college football playoff game is set.
Person back into the end zone. He runs it in over the left side for a Miami touchdown. No time left. Miami wins. We're going to the national championship. It's all about the U.
The U plays for the title in their backyard versus either Oregon or Indiana. Let's take a look at those long shots.
Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback for Ole Miss, more than 23.5 rush yards, evading that Miami pass rush.
The things we think and do not say.
Mark Fletcher, running back for Miami, more than 96.5 rush yards.
What can I say, boys?
It's all about the U.
And Anthony Edwards, more than 30.5 playing the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What the hell? Well, I have a microphone and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
Let's get to the weekend inside the Fletch Zone.
And it's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer makes his triumphant return today. John needed a couple days for his voice. His voice is back. And Sammy, you're sticking around for a little bit with John, right?
Yeah, I'm staying on till 4, and all of a sudden my voice is deciding to go out in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, Sammy forgot how to breathe for a second there, so there were lots of coughings happening. But the long shots is in, at least the first long shots of the day. And like our buddy from the 858 said, $20 on each for today's long shot. So Sammy handled the AFC plus one college football pick. I will handle the NFC. You'll hear those picks coming up right after Steve Hartman hangs up with us. 858 also texting in saying, pretty please no college football picks. Sammy does not know college ball. Instead, Can we get an over-under on forgotten lines in Shrek the Musical?
First off, I take offense to that. Mark Fletcher hit last night. I'm sorry that Trinidad Chambliss kept getting sacked.
Chambliss would have hit if it was in the NFL because they don't count sack yardage against you.
Exactly.
College, they count sack yardage against you. For some reason, that should probably be gone.
Yeah, it's a terrible rule.
That's a bad rule for betting, which you know what, Sammy, probably should have thought about that before you went ahead and booked that one yesterday. But the Shrek the Musical part of this, I'm honestly a little sick to my stomach, if I'm being honest.
So tell everyone what's going on for those who didn't hear the show earlier this week.
Probably a month and a half ago, my wife texts me and says, our nephew Noah is going to be performing in Shrek the Musical the weekend of January 10th and 11th. And I said, well, I work Aztecs on the 10th. The Niners may be playing. The postseason is going on in the NFL on that Sunday, the 11th. And she said mean things. And basically I said, okay, let's go on the 11th. So we're going on the 11th. And then I had a 1 in 6 shot for the Niners not to be playing, or a 5 out of 6 shot for the Niners not to be playing at the exact time I will be sitting in the play. But of course, because God smiles down upon us, the Niners are playing at 1:30. The play starts at 2 o'clock. So I'm toast. I'm cooked. I'm done.
I got to be honest. I don't feel bad for you because you should put your foot down. See,
it's such a single 24-year-old thing to say. You should have put your foot down.
No, I just
wait till you get married.
I literally I've told family members off. I've told everyone. I told you for Thanksgiving. There was a big argument.
It's different.
They literally they literally were like, we're gonna have Thanksgiving dinner during the game. I said, that's fine. I won't be showing up to Thanksgiving. There was a gasp. People were like, you wouldn't actually do that. I go, oh, try me. Literally try me and see if I choose you over the Chiefs. And then dinner got moved.
I do have special permission. I had my wife sign a permission slip that I'm allowed to wear AirPod, singular AirPod during the Shrek the Musical. And I will be watching the entire game on my phone.
I can't believe you're going to a Shrek the Musical.
Dude, I love
what is your nephew a tree or something?
No,
is he even Shrek?
He's got a speaking role. I tried to use that excuse.
Is he the donkey?
I don't remember who he is, but I tried to use that as an excuse. I tried to say, oh, is he even talking in this one? And she said yes. So
I literally went to my basketball coach one time. There was one time a high school basketball game during a Chiefs Charger game, actually, back in the day. And I went to my coach. I was like, look, man, let's just be honest. Let's lay all the cards on the table. I don't play, and you're not going to plan to play me, right? So you don't have to tell me that I'm gonna get minutes on Saturday night possibly. I go, just tell me if I'm gonna play. He's like, you're not gonna play. I'm like, you know what? That's great. That's all I needed to know, because I'd rather be watching the Chiefs game than being here anyway. I told all my family to stay home. I said, I will not be offended. I don't want to be here. So why would you show up to be here?
Bad teammate Sammy Long calling it right now. All right, on YouTube, our buddy Salvador chiming in saying, "Hola, ¿cómo están, amigos?" We're good, Salvador. ¿Cómo ustedes? I believe that's how you say it. And
ustedes is respect.
Yeah, respectful to Salvador. Thank you for being here, Salvador. Appreciate you being on. All right, Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the more tightly debated, tightly contested game. And literally as we speak, they just put the Chiron, the little graphic up on First Things First that say, what would a loss mean for Josh Allen? And it's funny, I looked down at our rundown. That's what we have on our rundown. What would a loss mean for Josh Allen in the first round of the postseason against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars? Now, I would say 2 years ago, the loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars being something very different than 2026, because Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars really have something cooking going on in Jacksonville. Liam Cohen has come in and in 1 year has done what Doug Peterson wasn't able to do, has done what Urban Meyer wasn't able to do. He has come in and made this Jacksonville offense look complete. Trevor Lawrence is playing maybe the best ball of his entire career. The defense even looks pretty good in Jacksonville. The defensive line's fantastic. The run defense. The Jags are very good. That's not an excuse for Josh Allen not to get past this game. If Josh Allen doesn't get past this game, I'm going to have to say something that I'm going to hate with every fiber of my being.
It's okay,
and it's that Sammy Long is right. If Josh Allen does not get through this game, Josh Allen is a playoff choker. There, I said it.
Josh Allen's PR team is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life.
Never won a road playoff game.
Never won a road playoff game. And
that's pretty embarrassing, honestly.
I want to be honest, because people are going to go, oh, Sammy, you're just ripping on the Bills. Josh Allen's a phenomenal player. He is one of the greatest pure talent at quarterback I have ever witnessed. And it's 100% fair. Josh Allen is an unbelievable player. But at some point, you have to, your record is what your record is. And they got the stats. His playoff career, he's 7-6 with 25 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And the Josh Allen lovers are going to go, look at him. He's 25 pass touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You can't blame him. But if we're going to hold Herbert to the same standard, if we're going to hold Lamar to the same standard, hell, we're going to hold Jalen Hurts, we're going to hold Brock Purdy, we're going to hold the rest of the league to this standard. There is no excuse. Mahomes is not there, who has beat him 4 times in the playoffs. Burrow is not there, who beat him in his home stadium 1 time. And Deshaun Watson obviously is not there, but Deshaun Watson was his first playoff loss. If he loses to Trevor Lawrence, then we're sitting there going, I mean, Trevor Lawrence was a guy who we thought could be a top 5 quarterback. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear about if he loses 42-38. Oh, well, the defense let him down. No, at some point, you have to have more points than the other team. And I'm sorry, that may sound like a basic take, but we've gotten past the first couple of years of Josh Allen in the playoffs where it was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna break through. People have said that for 5 to 6 years now, and it still hasn't happened. And if Mahomes has obviously been Mahomes and Andy Reid have been the number one catalyst for why he hasn't won, well, they're not stopping him. So I don't want to hear excuses made for if he loses to Trevor Lawrence, if he loses to Bo Nix, Drake May. I mean, any one of these guys, there really is no excuse, and it's on Josh Allen. He has to go win. It's on no one else, and we'll see if he does it on Sunday, because Jacksonville, if you take the helmets away, if you take away the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars have been a terrible franchise for a long time, they've been playing some of the best football in the league, maybe the best football in the league the last 6 weeks.
Playing against a really tough schedule too. Jacksonville's been good this year, 13-4, and they earned every little bit of it. And they're 7-2 at home on the season. They've been fantastic.
Fletch, I'm curious, real quick, would we reevaluate? Let's say he loses this game. Would we reevaluate where he stands in QB rankings?
I don't think so. I think playoffs are a different animal altogether. I think you could talk about him as a playoff underperformer, even though he's played well in the postseason. Like, you put up the numbers, 25 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions, a 101.7 passer rating. You can make the argument that it's everything around him. And maybe it's a change of head coach that's needed for Josh Allen. And that may happen if they lose tomorrow or this weekend at Jacksonville. But I don't know. It's funny when you look at the advanced analytics heading into this game, everything would tell you Jacksonville should be favored.
Right.
All the numbers, the roster strength of schedule, everything would tell you Jacksonville should probably be favored by around 3.5. They're not, and they're not because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen and the Bills are favored by 1.5 points. So they're telling you that the difference in quarterback is so great that the Buffalo Bills should be favored in this game because Josh Allen is that much better than Trevor Lawrence. I don't know that he is.
My thing is Josh Allen, this narrative, Josh Allen's been great in the postseason. Josh Allen has been very good in the postseason. The game where the Chiefs won the 13-second game, not on him. He left the field with the lead. I'm not putting that on Josh Allen. The first year, he didn't have enough pieces the COVID year against the Chiefs. The last 2 times, he had the Chiefs in Buffalo. They were favored in the game by 3.5. He misses Stephon Diggs, then they missed the kick. 3:37 left on the clock in the AFC Championship game last year. He has, I'm going to go through this again. 12-yard rush.
To. He got the first down. They should have won that.
No. Hold on.
No, we've heard Josh Allen's
no. If you're gonna sit there,
we have to get to the big 3.
If you're gonna sit there and say you should have got the first down, then when he has down 3 with 3.5 minutes left on the clock, he doesn't get it done.
All right. Well, you're gonna have a big 1 now. Congratulations.
We need to say you're a part of Josh Allen's PR team. I want to make sure San Diego understands that that's not the case.
God, I hope the Bills win this weekend. I really do.
Don't let Trevor Lawrence
be
win.
Able to handle this on Monday if the Bills lose this game. All right, San Diego Sports 760, big 3, which is probably going to be like a big 1.5. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
You know the analytics actually have Jacksonville at a 52% chance to win?
Yeah, I mean, they're the better team. It's just to your point, Josh Allen. People think Josh Allen, James Cook, which is reasonable, are going to have a huge game.
I do think that means that in like Vegas, when someone has a 51% or greater chance to win a game, they usually go plus, or they get 3 points, especially if it's a home game, then it even bumps up. So it should be a 3.5 point spread favoring Jacksonville, but it's a 1.5 point spread favoring Buffalo. And that the only thing that makes sense to me is the quarterback. That's the only thing it can be.
Yes, because we know Josh Allen can be superhuman.
Wow. All right, Sammy, where are we going?
Rams-Panthers, first playoff game on Saturday. Question is this: if the Panthers lose the game, is Bryce Young the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers next year?
Dude, I'm telling you, the Panthers should not be 10.5 point dogs. I understand why they are. And again, you go to the roster, you go to the advanced analytics, blah, 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 blah. Who cares about all the nerd stuff in the NFL? I understand why the Rams are 10.5 point favorites on the road. I get that. But the Rams have not played good football for like 45 days.
Yeah, but have the Panthers played good football?
They beat the Rams within the last 45 days.
Okay, but Rams coming off a massive winning streak, 31-28.
They're not coming off
home.
A massive winning streak.
No. I'm saying at the time of that game.
Okay, yes.
They had just lost to your Niners on Monday Night Football. The offense looked putrid in that game. Caught the Rams by surprise.
The Panthers have me thinking about the plus 10.5 line is really what I'm saying here. But could you imagine if the Rams and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay lose this game to the Carolina Panthers? Now, I'll give the Rams this. A lot of their offensive line was hurt leading down the final stretch of the season. Devontae Adams wasn't playing down the final stretch of the season because they were trying to get him ready literally for this game and this postseason run. That does change a lot. Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams seemed like they were playing together for 15 years, and they just started playing together this year. The Rams should be favored by as much as they are in this game, but man, oh man, Carolina, if Bryce Young pulls this off, they're plus 20,000 right now to win the Super Bowl, plus 20,000, which means they have 0 shot to win the Super Bowl according to Las Vegas. If they pull this off, though, you have to start giving them a little bit of respect, man.
If they pull it off, they deserve respect. Now, they're not going to, because the Rams, if the Rams are going to get beat, it's going to be because the secondary gives up a big game. That's if the reason you don't believe in the Rams, if there's one reason, it's that the corner situation, safety situation is not what it could be. Emmanuel Forbes came over from Washington, former first-round pick, has been serviceable for them, but they don't really have lockdown corners on the outside. It's really the catalyst for that defense is Jared Verse and that pass rush being so dominant, which they are, and then the offense being unbelievable. Bryce Young, though, I think in Carolina we're looking at the worst possible situation. I have a friend who's a massive Panther fan, and he wants them to get rid of Bryce Young. But the problem with a guy like Bryce Young is a lot like Kirk Cousins. It's a lot like a lot of former quarterbacks in this league. They're going to win you a decent amount of games. Like the Bryce Young is not awful. Bryce Young has talent, as evidenced by when he beat the Rams. You can see the talent jump off the page, but due to his not huge arm strength, due to the fact that he's pretty short, is he really a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Are the Panthers really going to be in a position, unless they want to trade up, way up to get a quarterback, which they already did for Bryce Young? Because in that weak division, they're probably going to be winning 6, 7, 8 games a year, even with Bryce Young at quarterback. But are they really a Super Bowl contender? If I'm the Panthers, I'd look to move off him, but I don't think that's going to be manageable because of the quarterback class and where they're at.
Isn't it funny to think that the Bears are where they are right now because the Carolina Panthers had to move up to get Bryce Young?
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, what's next?
You know what? Shout out to our text line helping me out with the big three because I love this question. 858. Who has a must-win game in the NFL this weekend?
Are we saying other than the Buffalo Bills?
Okay, we'll take the Bills out because I think we both agree on
talking about them. I would say the Rams are in must-win territory because of the opponent. I would say that it's Rams and Bills. Those are the only two must-wins I see.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I know it sounds weird. Green Bay
is just such an even matchup.
I know, but here's why. They're a road favorite. People are giving them, again, a lot like the Bills-Jags game. I think if we look at the team, like Chicago and Jacksonville has been way better teams than the Packers. Packers have dealt with injuries. Packers and Bills a lot this year. Except we look at the Bills and Packers as historically winning organizations who have perennially been in the playoffs. So people are more apt to pick them and believe them. Matt LaFleur has been thought of as a great coach. And I think Matt LaFleur is a fine head coach. He's done a good job developing Jordan Love. But they've been the 7th seed each of the last 3 seasons in the playoffs. And you're playing in a unique situation. Your division rival, who's got a superstar young quarterback, you think you have a superstar young quarterback, which I think is fair. The Lions didn't make the playoffs. Who knows where they're going, but I think the Lions will be back. The only team in the division that doesn't look like they're going anywhere is Minnesota. I think if you're the Packers and you sit there and lose to the Bears this weekend, the only Jordan Love big moment and Matt LaFleur big moment is when they dismantled the Cowboys like 49-24 2 or 3 years ago in the playoffs, and then they lost to the Niners.
The immediate next game, they blow a third quarter lead
to the Niners. So if you lose to the Niners, you've lost multiple years in a row, and then you lose to your division counterpart.
LaFleur starts to get talked about next year as potential hot.
And I think people, Jordan Love's going to be there, but I think people sit there and go, is Jordan Love really that guy? I actually, despite the injuries, think the Packers have a lot more pressure on them than a lot of people are giving them credit for.
And to the texter's question, I guess you could throw the Steelers on that list for must win.
For Mike Tomlin's sake, I think so.
Exactly. Like if he wins this game, there's no question he's coming back unless it's his choice. But if he loses, that's going to be the narrative around football.
What about, though, it's funny, I just thought about this. What about the other side of that game? What about Houston? Like Houston, the Jacksonville has come out of, quote, nowhere, and now they look like they're going to be a perennial contender in that division. Just like we talked about Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, and Burrow are not there. C.J. Stroud has maybe the best defense in the NFL. C.J. Stroud was coined as one of the next 8 quarterbacks. If he is one and done, and if he loses to Pittsburgh, a team that has a lackluster offense, I think we also have questions of, well, is C.J. Stroud a guy that can get you to the Super Bowl?
For sure. But I think DeMeco Ryans has already done a good enough job of bringing the Houston Texans into relevance.
That's fair.
Like, I don't think anyone's job is in danger if they lose to the Steelers. Like, you're losing to a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I just think that would be very disappointing to lose to a team that down the stretch in Pittsburgh's probably gotten fortunate.
For sure. But it's a quarterback in C.J. Stroud, who this is his 3rd playoff game, I'm pretty sure, versus a quarterback who's played like a season's worth of NFL games in the playoffs alone. Like, there is a big difference there. So it's, you don't look at the Steelers beating Houston and be like, oh my God, never saw that coming. Houston was huge favorites. It's like a pretty even game.
I will just say Houston's been in the playoffs each of the last 2 years. He lost to Baltimore, then he beat the Browns and lost to the Chiefs. It's like this year should be, if we're going off the trajectory, should be a year where he's in the AFC Championship game. If you lose to Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old, I don't know if that's a good look for you.
Maybe. All right, San Diego Sports 760 coming up next. What game have we not talked about? Well, we just did a little bit, but Green Bay, Chicago, maybe the best game in the slate of games this upcoming weekend. Let's talk about it on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer, who we did get eyeballs on, is here. He will be here at 2 o'clock today to carry you through till 6 o'clock tonight. Sammy's going to jump on for a couple hours with Schaefer. So good stuff coming, but we are not done with our little NFL preview. Steve Hartman in 8 minutes, but we're going to continue on here. All right, Bears, Packers. This is a good game, man. You talk about teams who have played each other. This will be the third time in 6 weeks that the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers are going at it. And I think it's fantastic, man. Now, the NFL schedule makers, this is kind of brutal for both these teams. Facing the same team this many times in such a short period of times, making it really tough to have any sort of advantage. What's the weather update in this game too, Sammy?
Apparently, it's supposed to be snowy, terrible weather in Chicago, which is, you would think, again, would favor Josh Jacobs because he's a great back, but the Bears are the number one rushing attack in the league with Kyle Monunga and DeAndre Swift this year. So I think we could see, everyone's talking about Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams, but I think this might be a Monunga and Swift versus Josh Jacobs who can hold up better.
I think you're absolutely right. Now, historically, snow games, postseason, you really do lean on experience. And the more experienced team in this situation is going to be Green Bay. However, I also look to health. And Chicago, a lot like Seattle, has had one of these seasons where, for the most part, they've stayed pretty damn healthy. Nobody's 100% healthy, but Chicago hasn't had one of those massive names go down with injury this year. Green Bay's had plenty of them. Micah Parsons not going to be on the field this weekend. Tucker Kraft not going to be on the field this weekend. Both those guys were key pieces to the offense and the defense, respectively. So it's like that makes you lean a little bit more towards Chicago. Vegas clearly is on the Packers in this one, -1.5, almost a pick 'em game. But that means neutral site, weather good. They're thinking Green Bay is around a 4.5 point favorite. And tonight, or tomorrow night, Sunday night, whenever this game is, that's just not the case. Weather is going to be a factor. This is going to come down to, again, something that nobody likes to talk about. This is going to come down to special teams. Like when you get in this situation where you got two very even teams who know each other extremely well, you add in a bunch of bad weather, who's going to make the field goal? Isn't that kind of what it feels like it comes down to?
And like, let's look at the last two matchups. So the game in Green Bay, if you remember, Caleb threw the interception late. The offense was terrible the first half. So completely came alive. I thought Caleb Williams actually made some really big plays in the second half there, but he did come up short. But probably the Bears should have won the game. Then the game in Chicago, the Packers should have probably won because it took the onside kick for then Caleb to throw the 50-yard touchdown. It was a very fluky game. The Packers had that. So both games that each team won in their home stadium, the road team probably should have won both times.
And the Bears didn't lead in either of those games until the final second of the second game.
Yeah, I think I get why Green Bay is a favorite in this game. Again, the experience, to your point, you've leaned on experience. LaFleur is a more experienced coach. Love's a more experienced quarterback. Josh Jacobs is a more experienced running back. There's a lot to like here, and I do think people probably sold their stock a little bit too prematurely on Green Bay. Like Micah Parsons obviously is a massive deal going down, and had Micah Parsons been there, I think you would have seen some Green Bay Super Bowl slips. I think people could have kind of wrapped their head around that.
Especially if Tucker Kraft was there all year. Like he's a tight end. He was wide receiver 1 for this team.
Right. So Dontavian Wicks is out for this game. And on the Bears side, Rome Odunze's back. So Rome Odunze's missed like the last month. He's the second-year receiver out of Washington who's been fantastic. Luther Burden's kind of up in the air. But this game is probably like, if you had to pick one game to watch in the slate, like this one's going to be fantastic. Where are you going to this game? Are we saving picks till the end? I don't know.
We are going to save picks for the very end of the show. Steve Hartman's coming up in a little bit, but I would be leaning Packers hesitantly in this one. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. This is like the one I have circled as my most fun to watch football game coming up this weekend. But it's good. Now, also important to remember, the Bears last 2 weeks of their regular season, it didn't exactly go great. They had that stunner with the 49ers where both teams were up in the 40s, and then they lose to Detroit in kind of a disappointing fashion. Detroit's season was already done. They were just playing to ruin someone else's season, and Detroit beats the Bears in Chicago. Like, that's a tough way to go.
To that end, do you think that if Caleb Williams loses this game, we look at his season as a disappointment or a success?
It's a success because they surpassed every expectation anyone had for them except for Sammy Long. Sammy was the one person who was like, no, this is the team who's going to finish atop the NFC North. This is the team who's going to double their win total, most likely to go worst to first. Sammy said all those things in the offseason. Give him a lot of credit for that. This is a building season, though. Like, do you think off the top of your head the Bears have a realistic shot to win the Super Bowl?
No,
me neither. So getting here is step one. But in the next 3 years, can I see the Bears getting to a Super Bowl? Absolutely.
I think a success though. I don't think it's a failure if he loses this game, but I think a real success is winning one playoff game. I think if the Bears win this game, then they go. Maybe they lose to Philly or whoever it is, the Rams, whatever's going on. I think then you look at it as a success. I do think him losing this game at home, considering the division will be good, the Packers will be healthy next year, you'll have the Lions healthy again, would be a little bit off schedule. I think Caleb Williams in year 2, you would like to see a playoff win, but I wouldn't say it's a failure, but I would be a little disappointed if he doesn't win this game, or at least doesn't really play well in his first game.
To the point of our texter earlier, like who's in a must-win situation this week, I kind of look through them and I say, all right, who am I uncertain about over the next 5 years? The Bears are not one of those teams. Like, I'm positive
it's a bright
Bears
future, right,
are going to be contenders here moving forward. The Rams, though, like, do we think the Rams, their future is certain? Absolutely not.
To your point about them in a must-win game, I like that because they were the number one team all year. They were in a year, like Steve Hartman says, coming up next, where there's not a single good NFL team. The Rams have been the team that people would look at and point to. How many more years does Stafford have left? Is he going to retire? There's a lot of questions with them.
He might be done in 2 days. Stafford could be completely done. All right, Steve Hartman coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Unbound.org. The Peach Bowl is going on tonight between Indiana and Oregon. Indiana is currently a -3 favorite, or a 3-point favorite, with Fernando Mendoza at quarterback, projected number 1 overall pick to the Raiders, and number 2 projected quarterback Dante Moore to the Jets. And then the NFL gets going tomorrow, NFL playoff weekend. Rams-Panthers gets going at 1:30. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Rams are currently a 10.5-point favorite in that one. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer will take over then. And right now, something we do every single week on Friday, his regular slot, Steve Hartman, the legend, the GOAT of Southern California radio all time, is joining us right now on NFL postseason eve. But Steve, we are going to start with the college football playoff. We had a hell of a game last night. You think about all the storylines in this one. Ole Miss essentially being a player-led team at this point. And then Miami, who was the final at-large bid in the college football playoff, gave us an absolute stunner on a Thursday night. That was a hell of a game last night, Steve.
Well, it was. Of course, you had a 10th-year quarterback, Carson Beck, leading the way. Look, Miami obviously will have the advantage now because they get a home game for the championship game. But, guys, it's not going to matter. If we haven't figured this out already, Indiana is so much better than everyone else. What they did to Alabama in that bowl game was at the Rose Bowl was absolutely a clinic on how a team is perfectly assembled and then can execute at the highest level and simply not make mistakes. That comes down to coaching. Cignetti right now is the best coach. Look, I like Oregon. I like Dante Moore. I like their coach. I like a lot of things about the Ducks. But the fact that this is a rematch and say, wow, it's payback for Oregon. I mean, they lost at home to Indiana. Yeah, they did. They lost at home to Indiana. So I think Indiana wins easily tonight. They're going to go down to Miami and absolutely scorch a Miami Hurricanes team that is really beat up after that phenomenal game last night against Ole Miss. So, guys, I just don't see anything slowing down Indiana from capping off a perfect season this year.
Steve, quickly before we get to the NFL, so sticking with college football, so if you're right, if Indiana wins the whole thing or Oregon, that'd be 3 years in a row Big Ten schools have won the national championship. Has the Big Ten officially overtaken the SEC?
I wouldn't include the conferences. I think it's just individual teams. So many things have to come together. Remember how Cignetti was able to put this team together? Basically, he got a bunch of his James Madison guys to transfer. They knew the system. And they went into an article today talking about systematically how he was able to fill spots and his personal recruiting of each one of these players. He just knows exactly what he wants. And this comes from years and years and years of being a coach. I mean, the guy's in his mid-60s, first time in the big time last year at Indiana, completely turns around this program. So, no, I just think what we're looking at right now, and by the way, the idea that a 10 seed is in the championship game does not bode well for the playoff. I mean, let's go back to the whole idea of bye weeks and everything else. This is something that is a project in motion right now to try to figure out how to make it an equal playing field for everybody as best they can for this college football playoff. And you can say, well, it proves that a 10 seed is every bit as good as some of the better seeds, but I just go back to some of those teams that had buys looking lousy, with the exception of Indiana, and going down in flames. So it's a work in progress. But honestly, guys, I don't see anything stopping Indiana this year.
Steve Hartman joining us like he does every single Friday at 1:30. Steve, let's switch over to the NFL, and we will do a Steve Hartman parlay of every NFL game this weekend on the money line. And we'll get to that in just a little bit, rapid fire fashion. But Steve, I did want to start with this. You think about storylines this NFL postseason. How do you think the Chiefs are going to fare? Oh, wait.
Shut up.
Oh, wait. For the first time in forever, the Chiefs aren't even in the postseason. I'm kidding, Steve. Why don't we go to the Chargers and the Patriots? This game taking place in Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. Of course, one of the last times the Chargers and the Patriots played against each other in the postseason was the infamous Marlon McCree fumble in 2006. How do you see this game going between Herbert and Drake May?
Well, first of all, when we're still doing this 5 years from now, we're going to say, you remember like the Chiefs actually used to make the playoffs? Remember that? We're going to like 5 years from now. We're going to say that. As far as the Chargers are concerned against this Patriots team, the Patriots are in the same position as the Bears are, as the Broncos are, as a lot of these teams that have these untested quarterbacks in the postseason. That being said, the Chargers have a quarterback that has been in the playoffs and played awful. I mean, last year's disaster in Houston was literally the worst game of Justin Herbert's entire career. It doesn't look good for the Chargers in this game, guys. I mean, you look at some of the point spreads, and I know a lot of people are sort of jumping on the dogs in a lot of these games. The Chargers, to me, are just not one of them. I just look at New England. Yes, they had the absolute easiest schedule in the NFL, no denying that. But here's what's impressed me about Drake May. I know I would not vote him MVP over Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford would get my vote for MVP. But the one thing that has really impressed me about Drake May is he makes mistakes, but he gets over them. He moves on for them. He doesn't compound his mistakes. And that's impressive for any young quarterback. So I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know what the point spread is on this game, but I think ultimately the Chargers are going to come up short against New England.
Steve Hartman, what are you saying about Josh Allen come Monday if he loses to Trevor Lawrence on Sunday?
Well, Sammy, that's a great question. I mean, look, if you look at Josh Allen's postseason record, he's 7-2 when not playing the Chiefs, 0-4 against the Chiefs, 7-2 in all the rest of his playoff games. That being said, is there a better team right now in the AFC than the Jacksonville Jaguars? No. The answer is no. This is the best team right now in the AFC. And I'll put it this way. If Buffalo goes into Jacksonville and wins this game, that will go down as the most impressive postseason victory of Josh Allen's career. You know, when you really look at it, the Bills and the Eagles, who were, by the way, my preseason picks to be in the Super Bowl. So technically I'm still alive on both of them, but they've had very similar years. They've been sleepwalking through the entire regular season. I guess with the thing in their mind is, hey, once the postseason starts, our experience will matter. That's dangerous. And as much as I would jump on Buffalo right now to win at Jacksonville, I just think the Jags right now, and I was saying this on the national show Sunday, talking about like Bo Nix or Sam Darnold, you know, of the number one seeds. Can you envision either one of those guys like hoisting the Lombardi trophy? You know, and everyone around me is like, no. I said, can you picture Trevor Lawrence hoisting a Lombardi trophy? And people are like, yeah, I could. He's playing that well right now. Liam Cohen's done an incredible job in Jacksonville. And by the way, if they were to win the Super Bowl this year, it won't be their last.
That's a great call. All right, Steve. Before we get to your picks here, I do want to talk about this Niners-Eagles game. And you think about the Niners and the Eagles, it's two teams with opposite problems, but both of them are kind of limping into the postseason. Niners are ridiculously injured, but they know exactly who they are and how they can win games. The Eagles are pretty healthy. You look around football, they're one of the healthier squads heading into this game. They seem to have a massive identity crisis. So both teams hampered a little bit coming into this one, but who do you see coming out on top?
Well, the Eagles look a lot like they did 2 years ago.
Right.
Do they not? A team that sort of staggered into the playoffs and then got blown out in the playoffs. Look, I think the Niners can easily go into Philadelphia and win this game. Whoa. I said before the season, the Niners are a contender if and only if they can somehow keep Christian McCaffrey on the field. And with all the injuries, guess who hasn't been hurt? McCaffrey. So he, to me, is an X factor in this game. Saquon Barkley has not looked right all year long. That offensive line hasn't looked right. There's just not a lot going on with that Eagles offense. So, I think the 49ers, on paper, even with the injuries they have and have had over the course of the season, are right now a better team than the Eagles. So I would tend to lean to the team that's actually the better team, and right now it's the 49ers.
Wow. So am I circling 49ers on this sheet I have in front of me for Hartman's picks?
Well, I mean, let's go down the picks. I'm ready to roll.
All right, Sammy, let's go back and forth in order of how the games are going. It starts off with the Rams in Carolina at the Panthers. Now, Steve, the spread in this game is 10.5 points favoring the Los Angeles Rams, but we're asking you money line straight up. Who is winning between the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers?
All right, well, I'm going point spreads. I'm going to go bold on this, and yes, the Rams will cover. I mean, how many times have you seen a home team as a double-digit dog in a playoff game? Rare, if ever. But Carolina is no match for the Rams. Rams steamroll Carolina.
All right, Green Bay, a 1.5 point favorite in Chicago.
Love Green Bay. There's not a lot to separate these two teams, and I'm telling you right now, Green Bay will win this game straight up at Chicago.
Wow. All right. Niners at Eagles.
I'm going to go with the Niners. You heard me say it. The Niners are the better team, so I'm going to go with the better team, the 49ers.
By the way, Philly has moved up to a 6-point favorite. So if you like the Niners in that one, it's going to make you some money, especially on the money line. Sammy, what's next?
Bills, 1.5 point favorites in Jacksonville.
Is that unbelievable? How? I know the Bills are favored, and I'm just like, how? How are they favored? The Bills are my pick this year. They're not anymore. They're just not that good. Jacksonville will win that game going away.
Steve, you might have to come host the show on Monday if that's the case, because Sammy will be intolerable if the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills. You've never met a bigger Josh Allen hater in your life, and he will let him.
Josh Allen truther in your life
nonstop. All right, Chargers, Patriots in Foxborough. Latest line on this one is 3.5 points favored for New England.
Too much respect for the Chargers there and Jim Harbaugh. Look, the bottom line is we haven't seen Justin Herbert have a good playoff game yet. Until he proves he can play in the postseason, forget it. I would take New England to win and cover.
And maybe sneakily the best game of the entire slate. Steelers hosting the Texans is a fantastic football game, man. Houston favored by 3.
All right. How is Pittsburgh going to score against that defense? I mean, how? I mean, I know Metcalf will be back, but I mean, I just do not. No. I mean, you're going to have that last shiny moment of Aaron Rodgers' career in the NFL, watching somebody choke a field goal attempt to put his team in the postseason. That'll be the highlight. Houston will do to Pittsburgh what they did to the Chargers a year ago.
All right. If you want Hartman's parlay, moneyline parlay, Rams, Packers, Niners, Jags, Patriots, Texans will all move on to the divisional round. I like it, Steve. Anything else you want to talk about today?
Well, no, guys, but I'm concerned about the John and Nobody show.
Oh,
is that the new name of the show, or is it the John Show, or how is that operating?
They're waiting for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here. I texted him. I said, look, here I am. I'm ready to roll.
Well,
Does anybody in San Diego want me back? I mean, there has to be somebody out there that
the
might
text line loves
want me back.
Your key card still works, doesn't it? Why don't you just come start
It
sitting?
Does. I took it with me. I guarantee you it works.
It's California.
Everyone say, when are you coming back to San Diego? I'll walk back into San Diego when I'm hanging out with John in the afternoons.
It's we're very friendly to squatters here in Southern California.
We would love to have Steve back.
You can just walk in, Steve, and sit down. Nobody can kick you out. It's just gonna happen. All right. Steve,
the crossover between our shows would be phenomenal.
Oh,
phenomenal.
Yeah, the fusion or whatever coming out at 145
yes.
would be outrageous on a daily basis. You could talk maybe more about how Sammy Long was conceived or something. I don't know.
I can't wait. I want to meet all of Sammy's girlfriends. I want to get a good look at each one of them.
Oh yeah, you could. Yep. All right, that's it, Steve. We'll see you next week. Have fun this weekend watching these games.
All right, guys. Love you.
Love you too. Steve Hartman, man. All right. If you want the Hartman money line parlay, Rams, Packers, Niners, Jags, Patriots, Texans. I don't know if I agree with it, but here's the good news. Sam and I will give our picks on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Oh, the anticipation is killing me. Tomorrow, the NFL postseason begins. Tonight,
Christmas Eve.
College football playoff continues. We got some good ones. All right, it was promised on this show. We are making good on that promise. Sammy did his long shots at 12:45. Here comes some Fletch shots, baby. I was in charge of the NFC. Well, right now, lucky enough for me, there's a promotion going on in the NFC. If you use Prize Picks,
BS.
we use Prize Picks. Caleb Williams is discounted to a half passing yard, so you could take that one to the bank. For my other two, Bryce Young. More than 19.5 pass completions. He's done this in 2 out of his last 3 games. Bryce Young is probably going to be playing from behind in this game, is going to need to be throwing the ball, and I think that's a gettable number. I'm pretty sure. I'm not Sammy Long. I'm no expert in this, but I do think 19.5 pass completions for Bryce Young is a solid number. And then the Niners-Eagles game, Brock Purdy plus Jalen Hurts, so this is a combo, more than a half rushing touchdown. Between the two guys, one of them is going to get into the end zone on his feet. Brock Purdy's shown a tendency to do this all year long. Jalen Hurts, we know the unstoppable play. It may be a 1st and goal from the 7-yard line, and they push it 4 times in a row and get into the end zone.
I like the picks, but you cheated because you didn't really give 3. You gave a half. You gave the free one.
I didn't cheat at all. I've
never given a 3-leg parlay and sold it as one of the free squares.
Well, maybe if you did, Sammy, you would have won some more, is all I'm saying. So,
I made you so much money, and to be that disrespectful is just wild behavior.
Thinking smarter, not harder. All right, we got about 3 minutes left in the show, so we're going to rip through these games for this weekend, starting with the Rams at the Panthers. Sammy, I'm keeping track. Rams favored 10.5 points. Who was your pick against the spread?
Rams are going to cover 10.5. Okay, I think this is a flat out domination.
I am going to stick with you on that. So S and F there. And then Packers are 1.5 favorites on the road in Chicago. Which way are you going?
I'm gonna take the 1.5. I'm gonna roll with Caleb. I'm gonna roll with Chicago. I think the fact that it's home, I think they're gonna get it done.
I got the Packers. All right, Niners, Eagles, 6-point spread. It just got updated. So Eagles at home favored by 6 over the 49ers. I can't bet against my Niners, so I'm going with them. Sammy?
This is the spread?
Yep.
Then I'll take the Niners on the spread because I think that's too big of a number, but I think Philly wins.
Bills, Jags in Jacksonville. Buffalo favored by 1.5.
I think Buffalo wins.
Wow, look at you. Are you just setting that up for
no, I think Jacksonville's had a tremendous year. I do think Josh Allen comes up in this game. Despite the foot injury, James Cook has a big one. I think they get it done.
All right, Chargers, Patriots in New England. Patriots favored by 3.5 points. I will start this off because I actually think the Chargers
you didn't take the Bills in Jags game.
I'm taking the Bills.
Okay,
I thought that was already a given. I like the Chargers to win this game on the money line, so obviously I'm taking them against the spread. Sammy?
I'm going Patriots. I think 3.5. I think they cover. I think the Chargers offensive line issues are going to be a real problem in this game.
And then the final game of the weekend is in Pittsburgh. Steelers hosting the Texans. Texans 3-point favorites. Total at 38.5. Can that be right?
Yeah, because it's all defense.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna take at home Tomlin +3. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Wow. Okay, I'm going Texans. I don't see a way that the Steelers score on this Texans defense. All right, so the games we're split on is Texans at Steelers, Chargers at Patriots, Packers at Bears.
And I will be pulling for Jacksonville with all my
Then why don't you bet on them?
Because I'm giving people what I think is going to happen. If you had a gun to my head, I would say that it would be the Bills. But I do think Jacksonville's it's a 50-50 game. I just do think the experience of Josh Allen, James Cook will reign through.
All right. I cannot lose this document because there's a lot writing on this because I need to place the Hartman parlay. I need to be able to have bragging rights on Monday when I kick your ass, Sammy, in all these picks. And God, if you're out there, man, and if you care about my mental well-being for just a second, why don't we say a quick prayer for the 49ers? All right.
No.
Come on.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Dude. Casey, if you're in the YouTube chat today, thank you for staying quiet. I don't think I could handle a smack talk showdown between me and an Eagles fan, but I'll see you on Monday, brother. That's it for us today. John Schaefer is coming up next. Thank you for being here. If it was your first time listening to our show, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. We will see you on Monday. You now have a standing appointment every day at noon to listen to this show. John Schaefer next. See you Monday.